Yeah, hi. So I'm Jan, and I'll talk a bit about how to get from root data format to PyTorch, and I will use HDF5 to do this. So it's a bit orthogonal to the previous talk. Okay. So a bit of an introduction, and as everybody knows, machine learning is becoming a crucial tool in a lot of HEP analysis, and there is a need to integrate the ML workflow inside a HEP analysis. And there's a couple of challenges to do this. Mostly, the first one is that the HEP data relies on large-scale data sets stored in root format, which is not ML friendly, because the ML frameworks expect matrix-like data, and the HEP data is often jagged in structure. So this is this thing that we need to bridge, and I will try to explain how I did this and what the library does that I wrote. So here is basically a PyTorch workflow. I will only focus on the first step, which is preparing data and turning it into tensors. Okay, so before that, I want to talk about a common workflow scenario, which I think is the most common one in a lot of HEP analysis. So we usually start with some central analysis framework that produces some root files. In most cases, this is C++. And then from these root files, we want to train our machine learning model with some ML framework. But before this, we need to do some further steps. And this is usually pre-processing events. And then also I will talk about how to do this and how to save these pre-processed events in the HDF5 files. And then when we have this, we can train using these HDF5 files. And then when this is done, we can export the model back to the original framework that produced the root files or to some columnar analysis framework. And we can do this either using Onyx runtime or just using the PyTorch checkpoint. And then when this is done, we can plot the histograms and be done with our analysis. And what I will talk about here, I will present a PyTorch-based library called F9 columnar that pre-processes events from root files and saves them to HDF5 files for ML training. It's on PyPy, you can check it out, and also do just pip install F9 columnar, and that's it. Okay, so to give a bit of context for people that are not doing analysis, how it looks like. So HEP data sets come in root files and are usually separated by MC and data. And then data is split on data taking periods, and MC is split for different processes. And there's a couple of examples from Atlas Open Data for the root files. So this is basically how the input data looks like. And we want to read this and use it in machine learning. And with this, there come two challenges. First is that these are large data sets and they don't fit into memory. And I will show you how I solve this by an iterable data set in PyTorch. And the second issue is that you need to shuffle the events. And I solved this by externally shuffling events to HDF5 files. Okay, so a bit of context on PyTorch side. So PyTorch provides classes to deal with data. And there are three main classes to do this. The first one is the DataLoader, which combines a dataset and a sampler and provides an iterable over the given dataset. And then we have two dataset abstractions. The first one is a dataset and the second one is an iterable dataset. So if you ever worked with PyTorch, you probably use the dataset, and this is the simpler version, and it implements the get item and the len, and it basically gives you the indices and it maps the data samples to your batch from memory. And then the second one is the iterable dataset that I used, and this one implements the iter protocol and represents an iterable over data samples. So with this iterable dataset, in advance, we don't know how long the dataset is, so we just read it in a kind of online fashion and then do something with it. So I use this, and basically what I did is that I put uproots iterate inside an iterable dataset, and this gives us a nice data loader that yields events from root files. You can install the library, and it's just a function that will return a data loader. And you basically give it any number of root files, and it will make an iterable over the events in this step size. And basically, you just do 4 events in root data loader, and it gives you the awkward arrays as a return value, and you can do whatever you want with this. And this is done with an iterable dataset. It also supports multi-process data loading with a specified number of loader worker processes. And basically all the data set access together with the internal IO runs in each worker processes, so it's parallelized. And it also takes one argument called processors, which I will try to explain on the next slide. And the idea is to do basically calculations or the transformations of the starting array to the final array and save this final awkward array to a HDF5 dataset and use it in training later. So this processors argument is a processors graph. It's a directed cyclic graph, and it's implemented in networks. And basically, this DAG describes a minimal columnar analysis that is performed inside the PyTorch DataLoader. So this means each worker is running a copy of this graph on different inputs and produces some output that we save to a HDF5 file. So this is basically a nice abstraction how you can write your ML preselection, and it's like nicely structured and it's transparent if you read it later. So here I have like some toy example. It's basically defined as some processor that you basically build the graph with. So you define more of these graph processors, and then you connect your graph however you want. And then in the background, the networks will run a topological sort on this, meaning that it will run the nodes in the correct order depending on the inputs and the output. And then each node can take arbitrary many inputs and produce arbitrary many inputs and connect to other nodes. So basically, this is a nice abstraction how to structure the analysis for your machine learning preselection. So at the end, you get what you actually want to use in your training at the end. Okay. So this, what I talked about, solve the first issue is how to read large data sets and how to manipulate them to get something you want. So now the second issue is that we need to shuffle our data, and this is to improve model convergence. And this is a common practice in machine learning, and it avoids bias on the order of the data. So usually when you call your favorite random algorithm, it most likely calls something called the Fisher-Ritz algorithm. And what it does, it takes an array in memory, and then it exchanges the elements by randomly sampling indices. But the issue with this algorithm is that if you have an array that doesn't fit into memory, obviously you can't do this. And a way to solve this is to use something called external shuffling, which tries to do this on an array that doesn't fit into memory. So the idea is that we will create empty datasets, and I will call these piles. And each pile is in practice just an HDF5 dataset that lives on disk. And then we will go for some step size of events from a root file. We will read the chunk size of these events to a randomly selected pile. And this is how we will basically shuffle our events to these piles. And at the end, we will get, so each pile will be a data set that will be representative of the contents of our starting data set, but it will be smaller and nicely shuffled. And then when this is done, we can simply read each of these piles in RAM, shuffle it again, and then read it per bed size and give it back to the data loader. So this is our, at the end, per epoch reading from a saved shuffled pile. And what we want from this to say again, so each newly shuffled data set, which I call a pile, should accurately reflect the underlying distribution of MC processes or data. Okay, and the library supports two versions of this external shuffling. So the first one is where each worker yields a step size of events to the main thread, and this main thread then holds piles, and then the main thread is responsible to shuffling the step size of events to the selected random piles or the HDF5 files. So this is the first algorithm it implements, and the second one is a parallel version where we additionally partition the events from a root file, and then each worker basically holds its own piles, and it selects a random pile, and it shuffles a chunk size from this step size of a partition to each pile it holds. So there are two versions. They can be imported. They have similar arguments, but they work a bit differently. So the non-parallel one has a better event pile coverage, so it means it's better shuffled, but the second one has faster execution. And this comes, as you can see, it comes as a processor, so it means you can insert it as a graph node, and a post-processor means it will run in the main thread, but it's also part of the graph. Okay, so I will show you now how it looks like if you put it in code. So you do your imports, then you define your graph like this. You have your preprocessors or the nodes of the graph, and each of these processors of nodes of the graph does whatever you want, and they're user defined. And here I will show an example of a jagged ML preselection for pairs of same size leptons in the final state. And here is one example of these processors, what it does. I won't go into detail. You can read it if you want. But the idea is that on this final node of this processor graph, you save these arrays to the HDF file, which is handled by this class here. It handles both flat and jagged columns. And you also give it a bit more parameters that, again, I don't have time to go into, but I will show you how the file looks like at the end. And then basically you have some utility functions, how you build a graph, and how you run this preselection or this mini physics analysis that will result in saved HDF5 files that are like shuffled and nice, and you can load them into memory directly. And the idea behind this library is that it's more modular and extensible, and it's built around classes, and it can be usable, composable, and extendable, and so on. Okay, so this is how the file structure looks like at the end. So the idea is that I try to make this a bit transformer friendly. And basically, each physics object has its own data set in the HDF5 file. So for example, here we have jets where I allow to have max up to 5. And if the event doesn't have 5, it gets padded, and it looks like this at the end. And then again, same for muons and electrons, where I only allow 2 electrons or muons in the event. And then if this is not true, it gets padded out. And then each of these data sets comes in each of these HDF5 files. And then the flat features come basically as a matrix, as is shown here. Okay, so this is how the file structure looks like. And then I have a pretty busy slide. And here is the full example how the data loading looks like. So once you have your HDF5 datasets, you can then use it in training. And here is a PyTorch Lightning example, how to use this. Basically, it has a utility function called getML HDF5 DataLoader. And here I show an example how this can be wrapped inside a Lightning data module here. Basically import it, and you make train data loaders, validation data loaders, and test data loaders. And the nice thing behind this is if you have a predefined number of piles, you can then naturally define how your chaining, validation, and test split look like by just simply specifying how many piles or HDF5 files you want to use in each stage. And basically how this works is that you have user-defined per worker setup function and a user-defined collect function. And in each of these functions, the user specifies what they want to do with their data from the HDF5 file. So here, again, some additional pre-processing can happen. And this is, again, ran inside the data loader in parallel. Okay, so here is an example. I won't go into detail. Before I finish, I also want to say that the library supports feature scaling. It's integrated. So, and this is usually useful for ML tasks where feature scaling can improve model performance. And everything is split on continuous and discrete features. And then once this scaling is performed, it integrates directly into the training loop, and it's done automatically. And here is the example how it can be done and what happens internally. So basically just a loop over the whole data set. And just to mention, it supports partial fitting for standard min-max and label encoder. And partial fitting means that the scaler will compute its parameters for the whole data set. So it's not limited by memory. And it also supports the JAG datasets where each object has its own scalar. Okay, and to conclude, so I presented a modular Python library designed to aid ML analysis in HEP. I demonstrated the library's structure and workflow. It implements directed acyclic graph-based columnar computation for efficient machine learning preselection. It supports external shuffling of data and data storage in HDF5 format. And it provides a seamless data loading utility for PyTorch, and it's built with modularity and transparency in mind to support future extensions. And you can check it out on PyPy and also try it out if you find it useful. So this is it for me. So thank you for listening, and if there are any questions.